Huskies of the University of Connecticut. Big East basketball.
This.
Live from the Gamble Pavilion on the campus of the University of Connecticut in Storrs, Connecticut. It's Big East basketball, the Boston College Eagles and the University of Connecticut Huskies. Good evening, everyone. I'm Gil Santos along with Ronnie Perry for this Big East battle. Boston College comes in with only one conference victory. UConn has just broken a 6-game conference losing streak. So we've got two very hungry basketball teams here tonight, Ronnie.
Well, that's right. BC wants to get on their winning ways in Big East play. They beat Providence early, but it's been a long time since a Big East win in Connecticut. Happy to get that win. They want to keep it rolling.
A guy who could be a key for Boston College is a transformed guard from last year, Bobby Moran. They've moved him to small forward this year, and he's playing well.
He does everything for Jim O'Brien. He'll rebound. He plays good defense. Well, he had a huge night against Syracuse, unfortunately, in a losing effort for BC with the points. They'll need a complete game again from him tonight.
Now, Boston College has been coming close in a lot of games against their Big East opponents. Haven't been able to get it over the top. What do they have to do in order to win one?
Got to take great care of the basketball. Connecticut will put all sorts of pressure on BC. BC has a young backcourt headed by Howard Isley at the point. He turns it over less than 3 times a game. They'll also have to do a great job on the boards with Billy Curley and Doug Abel inside, David Hinton off the bench, Willie Foley, and they really have to come out of this game quickly. I believe this is really the key in the game. They fell behind Syracuse 12-2. In this one, if they can get Abram and Huckabee shooting the basketball, come out of the game quickly, I think the confidence in build, and they'll have a good chance in this one.
Now, UConn had lost 6 in a row before beating Villanova the other night, so they have bounced back with a conference win. One of the keys in that game was the play of Rod Sellers.
Well, he was terrific in that game, and Connecticut needed the game badly, and Rod Sellers played like a man possessed in this one, scoring inside, rebounding, and probably most importantly, playing with a lot of emotion. And John Gwynn, as usual, their super sub off the bench, came through with a big night, scoring with the basketball. The inside-outside threat, they need that again tonight. You can see the points were put up. A lot of balance in that game against Villanova. Chris Smith can always come up very big. He leads the team in scoring.
Now, Connecticut does not have injury problems per se, but Scott Burrell has been hampered with tendonitis in the heel.
That's right. He's a great athlete, so he can play very well despite the injury. But when he practices every day, he's that much better. He had 21 the first game against BC, so with his athletic ability, he can key the Huskies on some great runs.
So we've got two clubs that are very hungry for conference wins. Boston College looking for its first since last year, 1990, when they beat Providence. Connecticut looking to make it 2 in a row. Back after these words from our local stations. With public address announcer Roger Baker.
Matchup between the Eagles of Boston College and your University of Connecticut. Senior from Queens, New York, number 30, Bobby Moran. At forward for Connecticut, a 6'7" sophomore from Hamden, Connecticut, number 24, Scott Burrell. At forward for Boston College, a 6'6" senior from Baltimore, Maryland, number 35, Doug Abel. At forward for Connecticut, a 6'7" sophomore from Orlando, Florida, number 42, Torino Walker. At center for Boston College, a 6'9" freshman from Duxbury, Massachusetts, number 15, Billy Curley. At center for Connecticut, a 6'9" junior from Florence, South Carolina, number 22, Rod Sellers. At guard for Boston College, a 6'2" freshman from Detroit, Michigan, number 10, Howard Isley. At guard for Connecticut, a 6'4" graduate student from Bristol, Connecticut, number 21, Steve Peichel. At guard for Boston College, a 6-foot freshman from River Rouge, Michigan, number 23, Gerard Abram. And at guard for Connecticut, a 6'2" junior from Bridgeport, Connecticut, number 13, Chris Smith. Introducing your head coaches, for Boston College, Jim O'Brien, and for the Connecticut Huskies, Jim Calhoun. Tonight's game officials are Jim Howell, Dan Chrisman, and John Cloherty.
When we come back, we'll have the opening tap for you. Boston College. See the team comparisons between Boston College and the University of Connecticut. UConn beat Boston College 96-70 in early January. The big statistics that show up there, Ronnie, Boston College's poor shooting from the floor and a -10 rebounding.
Well, I think they've got to shoot it well early. That's below 40 for the year in Big East play. They must shoot better and also team up on the backboards.
Sellers controls the tip, but the ball is picked up by Bobby Moran. UConn has won the last 5 games between these two teams. Moran misses the opening shot.
What a rebound by Burrell. Did he get up?
Steve Peichel brought it back, and now this is Scott Burrell. Now Peichel operating as the point guard for the University of Connecticut. They go low to Rod Sellers, send him in immediately against the freshman. However, Isley and Abram got their hands on the ball, and Moran made the steal.
Good collapsing defense by the Eagles that time.
Moran, nice low post pass to Gable, lays it up, no. Rebound Sellers.
The crowd will stay on its feet here at Gamble until Connecticut's able to score.
All right, Burrell, skip pass, finds Chris Smith. Now Peichel.
BC in the matchup zone, 1-2-2.
Terreno Walker. Peichel again. Jim Calhoun has tried several combinations in the backcourt. Burrell deep in the corner on the miss. The weak side rebound to Moran. As has Jimmy O'Brien of Boston College, trying several different combinations as this season has gone along.
He'll go with Abram or Huckabee. Tonight it's Abram in the backcourt with Howard Isley at the point. And I think Jim Calhoun is settled in with Steve Peichel at the point.
Nice move by Isley to get free. Finds the open man, Abel, for 2. Good job by Howard Isley, the freshman point guard for Boston College from Detroit, Michigan.
Always want your point guard to look to penetrate, set up the other players for the easy shot.
Now we played a minute and a half here at the Gamble Pavilion. Curley out on the ball on Smith. He dumps it off to Peichel, and we've got a charge on Chris Smith. You find that unusual, Ronnie, to find Curley out there pressuring the ball like that?
Yeah, I do, but I think what Jim O'Brien is trying to create early is some intensity with his matchup zone defense, looking to trap and not sit pat. But it is unusual to see your big man come out. Chris Smith with a good penetration, but Doug Abel steps in with excellent position to take that one.
Isley on the inbounds to Bobby Moran. And once again, back to Howard Isley. He is being pressured by Chris Smith, the famed Connecticut back-to-back-court violation. Abram had a foot in the front court and a foot in the back court.
Well, we talked about BC ability to not turn it over tonight against Connecticut's pressure, and that was three-quarter court pressure. And Jim O'Brien has had to live with some turnovers this year because of the fact he's got a very young team on the floor.
This club is averaging 18 turnovers a game. They are forcing the opponents, however, to turn it over 19 times a game. Michael comes around the Walker pick, but he's got Abel with him. That leaves Terreno Walker on the baseline. Little jump step, no. Rebound right into the hands of Walker in the paint. Now Chris Smith.
Now BC doing a very good job to find Chris Smith. He's explosive.
Offensive board to Burrell. Basket won't go. He'll be at the line to shoot 2. In Boston College's win over Notre Dame at South Bend last week, one of the keys to BC getting that victory was the play of their defense. So while they're still struggling to find themselves offensively because they are so young, they're getting good defensive work for the most part.
Well, I think you're right. They get the same kind of defensive effort that Jim Calhoun generally gets out of UConn. He insists on the defense, and BC's quick in the backcourt. And an interesting point on that, Gil, Jim O'Brien elects here away from home to have his team shooting in front of the bench in the first half so that he'll have the defense in front of him in the second half. They felt that was the key to winning that Notre Dame game.
Scott Burrell missing his first free throw. Had a rough night against Villanova, went 3 for 11. The last game UConn played, he gets 1 out of the 2. Or Connecticut gets on the board. It is 2-1 Boston College, 17:45 to go in the first half. Abram, Moran finds Abel down low. He's triple teamed, hustles it up anyway. It's blocked into the hands of Burrell. Oh, what a steal. Great play by Abram.
Look at the bodies on the floor on that one.
Abram losing control, regains it, but that's a double dribble call on Gerard Abram. And we've got Moran shaken up on the play. He's getting up slowly, being helped up now by Billy Curley. Take another look at that steal by Abram.
It was a wild turn of events. It was a block inside by Terreno Walker. You can see Burrell go down right there with Bobby Moran. A big collision at midcourt. Moran up very slowly on that play.
Now they dry the floor off. Jim O'Brien looking out, talking to his troops. They beat Providence in the first conference game of the year in 1990. In December of 1990, late December, and have yet to win since then. They are now 1-9 in conference play. Check that, 1-7 in conference play. But as we mentioned before, they've been playing better as the season has gone along. Rod Sellers posting up low. Ahead it comes to Gerard Abram, but one man to beat doesn't beat him. Whistle, and we've got a foul on Terreno Walker. Now, Abram had Burrell to beat, but really didn't lay it up there nicely at all.
No, I think he was intimidated by the fact that Burrell was there. Burrell, our great leaper, really made Abram change the shot, got him off balance.
Dan Cerulik, a 7-footer from Williamsville, New York, comes in, replacing Terreno Walker. It is 3-2 UConn, 3 minutes gone in the first half.
Huskies go to the 2-3 this time.
Find Curley up top. Looking low now, Curley takes it in the paint and hits.
Now that's big for Billy Curley to come out, get the first basket, found the seam that time.
Curley, 6'9" freshman, improving as the season has gone along.
He's really got to stay out of foul trouble in this game, down low for BC, as does Doug Abel.
That's Steve Peichel for UConn, gets it low to Sellers, they double team him, Sellers gets the shot up, it was blocked. Gets his own bound, blocked again.
Oh, what an effort.
Doug Abel, what a play. Loose ball on the floor, picked up by Curley.
Doug Abel at 6'5" really rose to the occasion.
Goodness. Howard Isley back for Boston College. They lead 4-3. That's a reach-in foul on Cerulik. For UConn, that will be their second team foul. Check that. That will be their third team foul. Watch this block by Doug Abel.
Well, Rod Sellers trying to take advantage inside. He gets by Curley, but Doug Abel with block number 2, emphatically.
All right, it'll be inbounded by Howard Isley. He does to Moran. Can't hit the layup. Burrell the rebound. Boston College is getting the ball inside against UConn, but unable to hit when they get in there. Burrell for 3.
Well, this is exactly what Burrell did at Conti Forum, BC's home court. He was very offensive-minded, and he's doing it again tonight.
6-4 the lead for UConn. Abel again down low is fouled by either Cerulik or Sellers. Boston College has effectively gotten the ball inside on them.
Yeah, they've gone to the wings with the ball, and Rod Sellers, who's been playing so well inside, is playing behind Doug Abel inside, and Gilda doing a nice job with the bounce pass along the baseline to get it in.
All right, Cerulik goes out. Obviously, Jim Calhoun is seeing the same thing as we are. He takes Cerulik out and brings in Lyman DePriest. Doug Abel is at the line to shoot 2 for Boston College. Abel averaging 11 points a game, 69% foul shooter. Senior from Baltimore, Maryland.
BC with just 2 players in double-figure scoring in Big East play, and it's Abel and Curley inside. Someone else has to step forward if those guys can produce tonight, if they plan on an upset here in Connecticut.
He gets the second one to drop. We're tied at 10-10. 15:58 left to play in the first half at the Gamble Pavilion. We're all tied up at 6-6. Is produced out there for Connecticut now. We've got Smith, Peichel, Burrell. There's Jim Calhoun along with Sellers and DePriest. For Boston College, no changes. Isley, Moran, Abram, Curley, and Abel. In effect, a 3-guard offense with Moran playing the small forward. There you see neither team shooting it well early on.
I think the importance of the early minutes, though, we talked about BC holding its own. They've done that, and Scott Burrell certainly a plus for UConn with that outside shooting. BC with a lot of pressure in this first half.
Burrell,
dangerous one.
Kicking it off to DePriest for 2. Good job by Scott Burrell.
Now, Connecticut lucky with the cross court, but Burrell, or should I say DePriest, with a nice finish.
Boston College down by 2. Baseline turnaround, not a good shot by Abel. Moran gets the offensive rebound, but he throws it right in the hands of Burrell. It is 3-on-3 with a trailer in Sellers. Smith to the hoop, count it, and he's fouled.
Now that's where Connecticut gets it. Good offense generated by the defense. Bobby Moran with that cross-court pass right in the lane. The ball was deflected, but Chris Smith so tough in the open floor.
That's the thing about Connecticut, Ronnie. They can score points in bunches because of their defense, the way their defense plays. They can come up with loose balls and steals, and all of a sudden they'll run off 8 and 10 points on you. triggered by defense.
Well, they key a lot of it off the defense. They're consistently with it. Chris Smith has been UConn's top scorer all year long.
A 5-0 run by UConn to go on top 11-6, and now they pressure the ball in the inbound.
This is where BC must handle the ball well. They'll use Curley, who's the center in the middle. He's a good passer.
Does a nice job there. Yep. Getting it ahead to Moran. Now Abel in the baseline. Abram straight away. Isley takes it inside. Does not hit it. Rebound Peichel. UConn in a 5-0 run. Peichel ahead to Smith. Peichel again. Smith on the baseline. Wanted to go, couldn't.
Nice passing by Connecticut.
Burrell for three. Rebound Curley.
Oh, he's got a man long.
Down court pass right into the hands of Abram, and he blows it away. And then he commits a foul. A great pass by Bill Curley right into the hands of Gerard Abram, but he missed the layup.
Well, Bill Curley always has his head up after he gets the rebound. Does a nice job in there to keep his base big. Spots Abram down the court with the baseball pass.
Perfect.
And I think Abram's somewhat surprised to even get the ball and then misses the easy one.
It was the third team foul in Boston College, each team with 3 team fouls.
BC can't afford those kind of easy misses if they expect to pull off an upset here tonight. Nice pass by Curley.
Chris Smith, that's Howard Isley on him. Now John Gwynn, who has checked in, replacing Peichel. They go low, and Curley makes the steal. Isley back for Boston College. A 5-0 run has given Connecticut an 11-6 lead. 14:20 to go here in the first half.
Connecticut in the man-to-man doing a much better job of fronting BC's people in the low post area.
Isley around the Curley pick. Smith following nicely. Abram looking low, try to get to Curley. Curley now finds himself in front of Cyrillic.
Nice good job.
That's good.
Was that a nice up fake by Bill Curley that time, and good patience by BC to let Curley get open inside. He's in somewhat of a war with Cyrillic down there.
I'll say, watch this.
Nice fake down. You see Cyrillic had to find him, and then the up fake right there. And there's the goaltend.
And he put it up with the offhand because he's a left-handed player all the way. Put it up with the right hand. That breaks the 5-0 run. 11-8 UConn. Curley with a reach in and steal, but a foul. Curley has been all over the place, Ronnie. He's scored, he's rebounded, he's passed well. He's helped them break the press. He's off to a very impressive start.
Been very active, and Jim O'Brien will look to rest him for minutes, but Bill Curley will end up playing, I'm sure, around 35 minutes in this game tonight.
Gerard Abram goes out, and Malcolm Huckabee replaces him for Boston College. Cyrillic outside with a jumper. Loose ball rebound on Huckabee. He is from Connecticut, from Bristol.
What a quick shot that time by Cyrillic.
Abel, way outside. That's beyond his range.
Not a good shot by BC. They can get a better one.
Cyrillic off the rebound to DePriest. DePriest gets into the paint area, and the ball is out of bounds off Doug Abel. It'll be UConn ball.
Both teams are anxious. They want to make things happen quickly. You get better results when you swing the basketball.
Now DePriest and Sellers go out for UConn. Burrell and Walker replace them. Scott Burrell to inbound. He does. To Gwynn.
Instant offense, John Gwynn.
Cyrillic, and now cross-court, that's Burrell. Chris Smith now operating as the point guard with Gwynn in there.
Oh, he's got 3 shooters out there now. Burrell, Gwynn in the wings. Oh, that ball must have been deflected.
Air ball.
At least that's what he'll tell his teammates.
15-foot shot, only went 14 feet. Huckabee. Now Abel, they kick it low to Curley. Moran is going to hit a couple of threes from there to loosen things up inside for Boston College, and Moran is capable of that.
Well, against this man pressure, too, BC needs the penetration from Isley to create some things.
Moran for 3. No. It's the top of the backboard. It will be Connecticut ball coming down. 12:43 left here in the first half. David Hinton is in for Boston College, replacing Doug Abel.
Once the basketball breaks the plane of the top of the backboard, the ball goes the other way.
Chris Smith, that's Malcolm Huckabee on him. Smith, the junior, Huckabee, a freshman. Smith, double clutching, rebound, Curley.
Curley's looking strong on the boards. Good defense that time by Huckabee.
They find Moran in the corner. It's Terreno Walker on him.
Huckabee had 15 the first game against Connecticut. He's 6'3", a big shooting guard, and he can get hot from the perimeter.
He's a strong player, too, physically strong. They go low to Hinton. Laid up, no. Gets his own rebound, loses it.
Jim O'Brien can't believe that there was no goaltend called on that one. Might have a case.
Win from the corner. Rebound into the hands of Huckabee at the foul line. 11-8, Connecticut by 3. 11:55 left to play here in the first half.
Connecticut really turning up the defense.
Ball slapped around. Hinton finally comes away with it. And Isley tries to reset his offense.
What Connecticut did to BC the first time around. It was a tough first half, and in the second half, Connecticut just didn't allow BC to do anything offensively.
Curley for the Eagles. That's Walker on him. Now Isley. Hinton. A couple of moves on Cerulic, and a foul is going to be called on Dan Cerulic. That'll be the 4th team foul. Make that the... Yeah, that is the 4th team foul on Connecticut. Each team has 4. Cerulic's second. Substitutions coming in. Sellers for UConn and Abel for Boston College. However, we're going to have a timeout before we're Ronnie Perry.
Well, it's a good look inside. Again, BC's gone to that early in this game. Hinton off the glass. Chance to go in on its way down. I think that was goaltending.
I agree. However, it was not called that way. It'll be Boston College ball with Malcolm Huckabee to put it in play. Curley has gone out. Abel has replaced him for the Eagles. Getting close to a 5-second call. He gets it into Abel.
Sure was. Has to get to your teammate within 5.
Blocking foul on Burrell. 5th team foul on the University of Connecticut.
That hurts Connecticut if the game starts to be a tightly called game because they play the very aggressive defense, the pressure defense under Jim Calhoun. If BC gets into the bonus, a big break for them.
Boston College is a pretty good foul shooting team. The inbound to Abel, and he muscles one in.
Well, good execution by BC on the inbounds against UConn's man-to-man. Turns up a layup.
It is 11-10 as Boston College has answered UConn's 5-0 run with a 4-0 run of their own. Wynn finds Burrell cutting through. Nice dump off to Sellers. Foul is going to be called on David Hinton.
This shows you the athletic ability of Scott Burrell, able to do so many things for UConn with the penetration and the nice kind of a wraparound pass behind Hinton. And then Hinton tries to recover, unable to get there in time.
Connecticut is not a good foul shooting team. They come into the game at 69% from the foul line. Sellers is 64 himself. He has had 2 double-doubles in a row against Syracuse and Villanova, combining in those games for 29 points and 24 rebounds.
And the interesting thing is that Connecticut has not shot the free throws as well at home this year.
Yeah, they have like 50%, 53.7% at the Gamble Arena, Gamble Pavilion.
In Big East play, and generally you'll see a team with better numbers at home. So that's sort of a surprising stat. We'll see if it plays any kind of a factor here tonight.
Wynn kicking it around to Smith. They're looking low for Terreno Walker. Now Burrell, Smith again.
Nice penetration.
Good job. Nice pass inside to Rod Sellers.
Well, give credit to Chris Smith that time, the point guard, getting inside, splitting the defense.
Huckabee back for Boston College. Moran, a 3, doesn't go. Rebound tipped by Abel. Back outside to Huckabee.
Heads up play.
It is 14-10, Connecticut, with 10.5 minutes left to play here in the first half. Huckabee, Abel, now they find Hinton, who's a pretty good outside shooter and a very good passer for a 7-footer.
Connecticut's just not allowing the outside shot right now with the tight D.
Tipped again, Abel getting it back to Moran.
BC really needs some penetration, some power plays.
God damn it! Shot was blocked. Connecticut hustling back. John Gwynn had Sellers ahead of the field, but BC got 4 people back quickly. Chris Smith for UConn. They lead by 4 points.
Both teams are really digging in defensively in this first half, not allowing a lot of easy shots.
Right now, neither team shooting the ball very well. They are both down in the 25-30% range. That's a 3-pointer for Chris Smith.
Now, Connecticut's hit a couple of those in the first half, and when Connecticut swung the basketball, they've turned up some good shots and delivered.
They've now hit for 6 unanswered points. And a 17-10 Connecticut lead, 9.5 minutes to play first half.
Now BC needs Curley back in at the low post. He's getting ready to check in.
Sellers commits the foul on Doug Abel. That'll be the 6th team foul on UConn, the limit on the Huskies in the first half, and the second on Sellers. Curley comes in for Boston College, and he replaces Doug Abel. Walker goes out, and Steve Peichel is in for UConn. So it's a three-guard lineup for UConn as well, with Michael Gwynn and Chris Smith all in there, joining Burrell and Sellers. Boston College has Isley, Moran, and Huckabee as the three guards. Ball is out of bounds, and Moran let it go, and it was off Bobby Moran.
Well, Jim Calhoun went to this three-guard lineup against Villanova over the weekend to generate some better offense, and what it did is it got the defense going, which translated into points for Connecticut.
UConn up 17-10. They're on a 6-0 run right now.
BC 2-3. Look at Smith. What that defense.
Did it again. He did it a couple of minutes ago and did it again the same way.
BC's guards cannot allow him to go right down the middle. They have to seal off his penetration.
8-0 run for UConn. Isley dumps it off inside to David Hinton. Isley did the same thing there, except a little further penetration, a little deeper.
Seeing some good point guard play tonight with the penetration and the nice bounce pass that time.
19-12 UConn. There's your time, lower right-hand corner of the picture. Win, that's a three by Smith, in and out. Rebound Moran.
Bobby Moran does that so well. He's kind of a swing player. He can go in and rebound.
6'3" guard is averaging 5 rebounds a game. Actually, he's a small forward. He's got a little quickness on Michael here if he wants to go on him. Hinton takes it inside, has the shot deflected, goes into the hands of Chris Smith.
Look at Smith handle the ball.
Whistle and foul on Malcolm Huckabee, fouling Smith on the way up the court. That will be the 6th team foul on Boston College, so both teams now are at the first half limit. And into the ball game for Boston College, Corey Jackson. He replaces Bobby Moran. Oliver Macklin was going to come in for UConn, but not yet. Got Chris Smith. That's a possession foul. That's not a shooting foul. Yeah, that's only their 6th team foul.
A hand for Chris Smith as well as a hand for Oliver Macklin getting in soon. Smith gets so low to the ground when he's handling it. That was a display that last time up the court.
Burrell inbounds deep to Peichel. 19-12, UConn leading. Just over 8 minutes to play in the first half.
BC very active in this zone tonight. It's a 2-3. They played it Saturday against Syracuse more passively, but they're trapping more tonight.
Wynn had a notion to take the ball inside. Macklin.
Wynn needs a pound. He needs to dribble it once to get the shot off.
Michael, no, the tip by Sellers doesn't go. We've got an over-the-top foul on Rod Sellers. That'll be number 3 on Sellers, and it will put Connecticut over the limit and put Boston College at the foul line.
Sellers not at all happy with that one. It looked like he was going up for the tip. Dan Chrisman must have felt that he had the other hand low. Pushing off.
Another look at it here.
He goes up. Oh, this is left hand, and he goes up with the right. I don't know. That's a tough one. We get the benefit of the second look. His left hand is low, and that's what the official picked up and called him for on the foul.
So he sits down with his 3rd personal foul, and Dan Cerulik is in to replace him. And David Hinton's at the free throw line for Boston College. Hinton, a 71% free throw shooter. Gets the front one, so he'll get another. To tell you the truth, I thought Curley was the one that got fouled.
Yeah.
One more foul shot for David Hinton.
I know one thing, it's a lot easier for us with 2nd and 3rd looks than it is for the men in stripes in fast action.
All right, 2 free throws go for Hinton. Just under 8 minutes to play in the first half. There's your score. We'll be back after this. Getting out rebounded by 10 a game in the conference. So far, they're more or less holding their own.
Yeah, that's right. And that's an important stat for us to keep an eye on. Both teams have been going at each other with defensive pressure. BC man-to-man.
Michael being pressured by Isley, and they get it inside to Cerulik. Foul is going to be called on David Hinton, and Dan Cerulik will go to the foul line. A 50% free throw shooter so far in conference play.
David Hinton really wrapped up Cerulik that time with his arms. Good call.
Players on the floor right now. Gwynn, Macklin, Peichel, Cerulik, and Burrell for Connecticut. For Boston College, Hinton, Jackson, Curley, along with Isley and Huckabee.
Jim Calhoun really committed now to getting minutes out of Cerulik, particularly early in ball games, so that he's got arrested Rod Sellers in the second half. I think that's an important
subtle feature anyways to get Sellers out there strong at the beginning of the game. Make sure he's strong late in the game and he's responding.
Cerulli gets both free throws, and it's a 7-point lead. UConn 21, Boston College 14. 7.5 minutes to play in the first half.
UConn with the contained pressure, 2-2-1. Yeah, I think BC's got to attack more on that. They get it to the middle. If they've got a good shot, go with it. In the half-court set, UConn doesn't allow much.
Isley trying to go on Gwynn. Now Corey Jackson on Peichel. Good entry pass to Billy Curley. Count the basket, and he's fouled.
Nice job, and Curley with a bit of a size advantage over Burrell inside, and he used his body very well on this move. The look inside, the nice bounce pass by Corey Jackson. Burrell holding the arm up, but leaning in with the body. Curley with the good finish.
In the time flies department, Ronnie, back in the days when I was doing high school basketball, I remember doing a game in the Tech tourney in the Boston Garden, New Bedford High against Boston Tech. Game was won by Boston Tech, and the star of the game was Mike Curley.
Oh yeah, Billy.
6'7", this young fella's father. Time flies when you're having fun.
He was a great ball player.
He was a heck of a player. Steal. Huckabee. 2.
Now good defensive anticipation. You don't want that flat pass against pressure. You want to keep it going up court.
Curley, by the way, has 7 points. He's hit all of his shots from the floor, and he's been a demon off the boards early on. That 5-0 run by Boston College has brought them within 2 at 21-19. Chris Smith is checked back in. The miss, the rebound off the hands of Peichel. Got a foul on Steve Peichel, and Malcolm Huckabee will go down the other end to shoot a couple for Boston College. Shoot a 1-and-1.
UConn standing around that time offensively. Peichel makes the mistake of killing his dribble, although Chris Smith still turned up a good shot.
All right, that'll put Huckabee at the free throw line. Huckabee is the freshman guard from Bristol, Connecticut. In the conference, he's shooting at 50% from the line. There you see Jimmy O'Brien.
Talking
and Happy Dobbs, his assistant.
He was a fine player himself at Villanova.
Sure. John Gwynn back in for UConn, replacing Oliver Macklin. So it's, again, the 3-guard offense, Peichel, Smith, and Gwynn, with Burrell and Cerulli. Boston College does not make any changes. Huckabee gets the front end of the 1-and-1. He'll have one more.
Well, talking to the UConn folks before the game, they felt the longer that BC would hang around in the game, the better their confidence would build, and that's exactly what BC's doing.
Well, they've got a 7-0 run going right now, and they have tied the game on those 2 free throws. 7-0 run in the last 50 seconds, Ray Perry, our ace statistician, tells us. Michael trying to go on Jackson, gets into traffic, loose ball, Hinton has it. Good defense by Boston College. They just closed the gap.
Well, that's great help out when the initial player gets beat.
Isley chasing down the almost errant pass.
Nice catch.
Isley looking low for Curley, can't find him. Now Huckabee. 6 minutes, 15 seconds to play first half. We're tied at 21. Eagles on a 9-0 run. Hinton trying to make a move, but he moved his pivot foot and traveled with it. It'll be UConn ball on the Boston College turnover. That is the 6th turnover for the Eagles. Connecticut also has 6 turnovers.
Jimmy O'Brien felt there was a push that time, but it was the walk on Hinton.
What do we have here? Foul on Huckabee? Yes. Foul on Malcolm Huckabee. It'll be 1-and-1 at the other end for Chris Smith. So Boston College had a 7-0 run going and the ball and a chance to take the lead. Instead, they turn the ball over on a travel and then commit a foul on the inbounds pass. All right, for Boston College, Moran and Abel come in. Hinton and Jackson go out.
Jimmy O'Brien has really gone to his bench in this first half to try to keep people fresh for the second half. He really goes deeper into his bench than Jim Calhoun does.
Yeah, he uses a lot of people.
I think we might see some of Willie Foley tonight as well. He played very good basketball late in the Syracuse game with 8 points and 8 rebounds and was active on the boards.
20 games this season for Jim Calhoun's Huskies. Chris Smith has scored in double figures in 18 of them, averaging 18.7 points per game in the Big East, and has led Connecticut in scoring 14 times.
I think UConn, one of the keys to their recent win, too, was the balance scoring. They get Chris Smith. They know they're going to get some double figures out of him, but getting other players with the balance scoring.
That breaks the 7-0 Boston College run. Huckabee getting it to Isley.
Nice look.
Nice pass. Flying pass to Doug Abel. Shot doesn't go, but he'll be at the line to shoot 2.
I thought Abel, if he went right up with that one, might have had an easy layup, created a much tougher shot for himself.
Exactly. He made an easy shot, a tough one. Take a look at it. That is 3 on Cerulean.
How about the freshman, though, Howard Isley, with the no-look job? Cross court. Doug Abel dribbling into traffic, and it's Cerulean on the arm.
He had gone right up. He had a straight layup right there. That's the first one, so he'll have one more. While in the act of shooting, it is 23-22. 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Curley and Abel have really been the scorers here in the first half, the team's leading scorers.
Doug Abel ties it up at 23 apiece. 6 minutes to play first half.
The crowd really wants to get involved here at Gampel, and I think if Gwynn and Smith can get it going, they will.
The miss by Gwynn, the rebound to Curley. Curley's tough. He really is.
He's doing a nice job in this game. Good position.
Isley. Now Bobby Moran for the Eagles. They try to sneak it in low to Abel. Great save by Burrell.
The crowd enjoys that one.
Peichel ahead to Chris Smith. Now Steve Peichel again.
Burrell's that kind of player, too. He can pull off some exciting ones.
Smith, 5:25 to go in the half. 23 apiece. Cerulean. Smith for 3. Yes.
Now, Connecticut has had problems scoring in some games, but Chris Smith seems to have the stroke going tonight.
Isley, good pass in low on the baseline to Abel. I'm constantly amazed at how Abel, who's 6'5", is able to get that ball inside and make layups against much bigger players.
I'll tell you how he does it. I think he's just a hard worker in there.
Got a foul here on Moran. It's not like he's a leaper and he goes up over people. But he always seems to manage to find a way to get it done.
Well, he's got a good sense of where the opening is, and he doesn't generally waste any time once he gets it in there. He's a quick leaper once he gets the ball.
All right, Cerulean goes out. Terreno Walker replaces him for UConn. On the floor for Connecticut, Peichel, Smith, Gwynn, Burrell, and Walker. For Boston College, Isley, Huckabee, Moran, Abel, and Curley. John Gwynn gets the first of the 1-and-1. Gwynn, 85% foul shooter. Certainly the guy you want on the line if the game is on the line.
Well, he had 21 the first time against BC. He's coming off a 14-point outing, and he had been in a slump prior to that. He came out strong in the last game against Villanova.
Just under 5 minutes to play in the first half. 3-point lead for Connecticut.
Connecticut with that contained pressure. The steal is a bonus, but they at least want to make BC work to bring it up each time. They're in the 2-3.
4 minutes and 35 seconds left to play in the first half. A 3 by Huckabee, no. Rebound, Peichel.
Very few fast break baskets in this first half. It's been a half-court, who can execute better type of game.
They lob it in low to Burrell. Inside out pass to Smith for 3, no. Rebound, Curley, taken away by Walker. Possession arrow, UConn.
Crowd can't believe it. They felt it wasn't tied up for long enough, but anyhow, Connecticut with the possession arrow.
It'll be put in play by Peichel. Huckabee goes out, and Gerard Abram replaces him for Boston College. In it comes to Chris Smith.
This is where Gwynn, who hasn't scored yet from the field, can get it going.
A 3.
Oh, not quite.
Tough offensive rebound for Burrell. He is fouled by Moran.
John Gwynn loves to pound it once anyhow. He loves to go to his left. That ball went halfway down and popped out on him, but Connecticut with the good offensive rebounding.
Well, Scott Burrell will go to the line and shoot 2.
Good shot at Jim Calhoun there with Glenn Miller, Dave Lato as assistants. Howie Dickenman right there.
5 points, 6 rebounds, and a couple of steals for Scott Burrell so far in the ball game. Notice how this place gets so quiet. You can hear a pin drop when a UConn player is at the foul line. What? We won't say anything.
We want to distract the home shooter.
We won't say anything. What? Isn't that amazing?
That is quiet. We'll have to do a check on that when BC goes to the line.
30-25, UConn, a 5-0 run. With 4 minutes to play in the first half. Moran, a three, doesn't go. Tip up, no. Rebound, Abel, trying to get it back up. He is fouled by Terreno Walker. Boston College has fired up a whole bunch of three-pointers here in the first half, and they haven't hit any yet. Jim Calhoun said that should have been a jump ball.
Well, he believes that when Abel went up with that one, that Terreno Walker had all ball, and if he's right, that's where you get the jump ball call. Curley keeping it alive, and Abel going up with it inside. And that's what Jim Calhoun feels. Tough to tell from that angle. He felt it was all ball.
Any number of people could have committed a foul there, by the way. Boston College is 0 for 4 in three-point shots, and UConn is 3 for 9. Second half of the 1-1 coming for Doug Abel.
Banks it.
He called it. You hear him yell backboard? He gets the free throw. 3:52 left in the first half. UConn by 3. This is a good basketball game. 6 for 6 at the foul line is the leading scorer for Boston College with 12, while Chris Smith with 11 is leading Jim Calhoun's Connecticut Huskies. It'll be placed inbounds by Scott Burrell of UConn.
BC out of the timeout with full court pressure for the first time, but they'll back off of it quickly.
Chris Smith brings it down for the University of Connecticut. 3:45 left here in the first half. Connecticut's biggest lead has been 7 points. Boston College led briefly at 2-0.
BC man to man.
The steal. Nice job by Isley.
Good quickness in the backcourt by BC.
Howard Isley, 3.5 minutes left in the half, takes the pull-up, doesn't get it. Rebound, Peichel. Ahead, Terreno Walker.
Chris Smith would be the man that can take charge here for Connecticut.
Takes it in, off the glass, no. Rebound, deep. Here comes Gerard Abram. Got one man to beat.
Oh, nice move.
Beautiful move by Gerard Abram.
Well, he just kept trying to reverse direction all the way down the floor on Steve Peichel, and he had a great explosion to the goal.
Put it in with the left hand to bring the Eagles to within a point. Just under 3 minutes. There you see it, lower right-hand corner of your picture to play in the first half.
BC in the man-to-man's done a pretty good job defending down low.
Gwynn is fouled by Abram. That will put John Gwynn, UConn's best foul shooter, at the line. Gwynn, 85% free throw shooter. Gerard Abram goes out. Malcolm Huckabee is in for Boston College. Third personal on Abram. And team fouls. Both clubs now are over the 10 foul limit.
That's 2 foul shots then every time.
One more for John Gwynn. 6 points right now. Doesn't get that one. Curley had the rebound, but it is knocked out of bounds by John Gwynn. It'll be Boston College ball coming down.
Good teamwork by the officials that time. John Clockerty with the help-out call into the basket. Connecticut stays with pressure. Neither team has really attacked, though, the goal in this first half, and it's settled down. Coaches at this point a lot of times feel, look, we put a lot of our plays and defenses in. It's really who can execute better in the game. The element of surprise not always there this late in the season.
Howard Isley, now Huckabee, now Curley. Skip it across to Isley, setting up Abel on the low post, and he is being chopped at down there. We're going to get a foul on UConn. Doug Abel will go to the line. That's Terreno Walker, and that's either 3 or 4 on Walker. That's 2, I'm sorry. It's 2 on Walker. Oh, it's Sellers and someone else that have 3. Yeah, Sellers has 3. And
again,
yeah, Abram has 3.
Again, the more closely called game does favor BC because they're not as big inside. And if the officials are calling the reaches and not allowing the real physical play, BC will go to the line more.
Abel had been 6 for 6 until he missed that one. Get a close-up, folks, of Billy Curley's jersey, the right-hand side. He's got cotton in his nose. You can see where there's blood all over his jersey. Apparently he got whacked in the nose earlier. Abel misses both free throws.
See if Connecticut can take advantage. Gwynn or Smith would like to launch one. See if they can get the inside play, though.
Burrell posting up low. Rebound, Curley.
These are pretty good shot opportunities for Connecticut that won't go down.
31-29 UConn with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Really the problem that both teams have had. They've gone into serious droughts in a lot of games.
Yeah.
Big minutes where they can't score.
Nice job getting it down to Curley. He rams it home and he's fouled.
Nice look inside, and BC has kept this game close in the first half. Connecticut has gone cold from the field, and Jim O'Brien has to be happy with this play. Walker had been fronting, and as you swing the basketball, Curley does a nice job to screen Walker out of the play. And once you swing it, look at how open he is inside. Slams it through.
Misses the three-point play opportunity.
Nice box out by Quinn from the foul line.
So it is 31-31. There's your time, lower right-hand corner of your picture. Michael finds Chris Smith. That's Malcolm Huckabee on him. Now John Gwynn with Howard Isley.
Both teams going at each other with three-guard lineups.
Down to a minute and a half to play in the first half. Doreno Walker, Scott Burrell. Good entry pass to Michael. Back it comes.
Nice
Gwynn
fake.
through the lane. Oh, what a shot!
Pretty move by John Gwynn. Nice balance.
Tell you what, I didn't think that one had a prayer of going in when he let it go.
Well, he was stumbling through the 3-second lane and finds a way.
There's your time remaining in the first half. Connecticut by a pair, 33-31. Abel, now Curley for Boston College.
Both teams with a lot of screening.
Huckabee. Curley dumps it low to Abel. Good job. Squeezes it up. No. Rebound Moran. No. Gets it again.
Oh, nice hustle.
Abel trying to post up Walker. Does, but overshoots everything.
Can't fade away when you get it down low. You want to try to power it up.
Chris Smith at the other end. Strong to the basket on the runner. Rebound out of bounds. It'll be UConn ball with 35.6 seconds left in the first half. And UConn can hang on to the ball for the remaining seconds of this first half before they get their shot away.
And up by 2, I wouldn't be surprised unless UConn turns up something very quickly here, like an alley-oop play, to see them pull it out.
And it comes to Gwynn. There's your time remaining in the half. Gwynn dumping it out to Michael.
Dangerous.
Yes.
Again, a pass thrown away from your goal. If it's picked off, could set up a fast break for the opposition.
That's Malcolm Huckabee on Smith.
Smith should be the go-to guy here. He's the team's high scorer to take the final shot.
Michael takes it all the way through and lays it in, and he'll go to the line.
Yep. Still time for BC to come down with just under 10 seconds, but Michael got much better penetration than he thought he would. We give the point guard credit here with the great penetration. No seal off on the baseline. No one quick enough to help out. And a nice finish by Michael.
That is the third personal foul on David Hinton. Michael will shoot one. 9.8 seconds remaining in the half. UConn with a 4-point lead.
A couple of guys there with a chance for BC to stop the penetration, unable to do so. Look at Curley with the boards.
Curley's had a magnificent first half. He looks like he's been in a street fight. His uniform covered with blood. Moran dumps it off to Huckabee for 3. Yes!
Oh, he got it. What a
Malcolm
shot.
Huckabee at the buzzer buries a 3, and we've got a terrific first half. It's come to a close. Take another look at this 3-point shot by Malcolm Huckabee of Bristol, Connecticut.
Well, we said there was enough time to get a shot off, and there was just enough time. He launches it with just over a second. Count it.
Time out on the floor at halftime. It is UConn by a point. We'll be back after these words from our local station. It is Abel, Curley, Isley, Moran, and Abram for Boston College. Smith, Sellers, Burrell, Lyman DePriest, and Peichel for the University of Connecticut.
Well, just as we felt the beginning of the game was critical for BC to stay close, we'll see who can take advantage to start this second half.
Curley on the miss. Offensive rebound by Bobby Moran of Boston College. Low, Doug Abel.
Watch, Sellers.
Blocked.
Oh. BC with some good chances to score.
Yep. UConn up by a point. Their biggest lead of the first half was 9 points. Burrell dumping it in low. However, Sellers thought he was going to shoot, and it turned to get in a rebounding position.
Oh, Burrell was so wide open, he really should have taken that shot.
This is Gerard Abram, one of 2 freshman guards out there for
Don't
Boston
kill your
College.
dribble in that position. Burrell with the big height advantage on Abram.
Moran finds Isley, and he throws it right into the hands of Sellers.
Careless so far.
Burrell at the other end, behind the back. Whoa, again a careless play. That's
Look at the
backcourt.
hustle.
Abram has it. BC leads.
Oh, that's just great hustle, and that's what Jim Calhoun will talk about with this very quick timeout.
Boy, he is upset. He came halfway out on the floor. Timeout on the court here in Storrs, Connecticut. BC by a point.
Carelessness. Taking
One of
care of the ball.
One of the reasons Gerard Abram was named Rookie of the Week last week for his 2 fine games for Boston College. Well, the Eagles have a 1-point lead. UConn's biggest lead had been 9. BC has equaled its biggest lead of 1 point.
I saw Abram Saturday night with 14 points against Syracuse, and the intensity level of these freshmen. Jim O'Brien says, hey, we're in a tough stretch right now. We haven't won a Big East game for a while, but these kids are fun to look at every day because they come to play. No quit in them.
Boston College is 1-7, but there's no question they're a better team than they were a year ago when they only won 1 game, and that ball is kicked by Boston College, so reset the 45-second clock and give it to UConn out of bounds.
Well, both teams have had some hard luck defeats, that's for sure. Chris Smith was wide open on the back door that time. BC 2-3 zone now.
Michael and now Smith for UConn. Crowd still on its feet awaiting the first UConn point of the second half. Gone nearly 2 minutes. Smith takes a 3, gets it, makes him Connecticut's all-time 3-point scorer, beating the record that had been held by Phil Gamble. Abram on a miss at the other end.
Phil Gamble had 141 made threes, and that gives Chris Smith now 142 made threes. Got the record.
Double clutch, no. Rebound Sellers, no. Rebound DePriest, no. Rebound Burrell, yes.
Oh, what an effort by Connecticut, dominating the offensive glass that time.
Well, you know that Jim Calhoun read the riot act to them on that timeout because he was very angry with their lack of hustle. UConn has come back to score 5 unanswered points.
Well, anytime a team jumps out quickly and a coach calls a quick timeout, it's a message.
Moran nearly had it stolen. Now he's in trouble. Finds Abram. Whistle, and we're going to get a foul on Steve Peichel, fouling Gerard Abram on the way through. First team foul of the second half on either team. Both of these clubs, by the way, went over the 10-foul limit in the first half.
Oh, the intensity level turned up several notches by UConn. You look at Chris Smith. Nice job from three-point land.
Inbounds it comes to Doug Abel, but the ball is slapped out of his hands by Smith, restolen by Howard Isley. Isley trying to calm everybody down. He's the point guard from Detroit, Michigan.
He's very poised. He likes to take the big shots, too, as he won the game for BC against Notre Dame recently.
Isley getting it back from Bobby Moran.
Smith all over him. The hand check.
Smith is playing some tough defense. 20 seconds on the shot clock for Boston College. Curley. Now Moran. Burrell takes it in the paint on him as the shot deflected out of bounds. It'll be Boston College ball. 12 on the shot clock for BC.
Oh, stifling defense right now by Jim Calhoun's troops out of the timeout.
Isley gets it inbounds to Abel, and he is fouled.
You just don't want to allow that, though, on the inbounds play, and that's the second time tonight that Doug Abel has found himself open on the inbounds.
If that foul was on Sellers, that'll be number 4 on the 6'9.5" junior from Florence, South Carolina. That foul was given to Chris Smith. Okay, that's his second. Doug Abel will shoot 2 for Boston College.
Been to the line quite a bit tonight.
8 times.
Yeah, that's a sign that BC's looking inside, trying to get it to him.
Blanks the first one off the back of the rim. One more shot for Doug Abel. He is 6 for 9 at the line in this game. He hit his first 6 in a row. Has now missed his last 3 straight. And gets that one to drop. 4-point game, 3-point game rather. UConn 40-37. 16:40 to go here in the second half. Michael with Abram on defense.
Oh, mismatch inside. Sellers on Bobby Moran. They find him.
Yep. Easy pickings for Rod Sellers that time. He had the 6'3" Moran guarding him.
Nice recognition by UConn.
Connecticut opens up a 5-point lead.
Oh, UConn fronting inside.
They've had 5 and 6 and 7-point leads at various times through the game, but each time Boston College has come back. Got another foul on Pikel, fouling Gerard Abram.
Now, BC has had problems in close games this year where they've just been unable to score for stretches. UConn playing tough D. But again, the close reach-in calls, as we mentioned earlier, does favor BC because it doesn't allow UConn to just go in with the all-out aggressiveness.
John Gwynn will come in for UConn. He replaces Steve Pikel. Ball will be put in play by Gerard Abram of Boston College. 42-37 UConn. Moran, now Gerard Abram had a notion to take a three. Takes the baseline this time, and that's going to be a charge in Gerard Abram. First team foul of the second half on Boston College. Abram got himself up in the air and did not know what to do once he got up there. That's the 4th foul on Abram.
That's right. He got himself up there and just crashes in for the offensive hole. Looks like a good one with St. John's and Nova in the second. St. John's on top right now, tied for Syracuse in first place.
That game early in the second half. Smith, now Sellers, entry pass slapped away and stolen by Abram.
Don't want to make that one from the top.
BC had a 3-on-2, but he lost control.
Oh, too much dribbling that time by BC.
Exactly. Smith, great move, great dish off to Burrell. He is fouled by Curley.
That would have been highlight time if Burrell was able to get it to go. Chris Smith, we talked about it in the first half. Can he handle the basketball? Look at that behind the back job in traffic. Draws the defense. Bill Curley will make Burrell earn this from the line. And Bill Curley putting in a workman-like evening.
Hey, what? He brings his lunch pail every time he comes to work, doesn't he?
He sure does.
Scott Burrell, 6'7" sophomore, Hamden, Connecticut. Good numbers in the night. 8 points and 8 rebounds to go with the 2 steals.
Got the tendinitis in his heel, but on plays like that one, he looks pretty good.
Silky smooth athlete. Great baseball pitcher, of course. A draft choice of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Toronto.
Yep. With a fastball that can bring a little bit of heat, I'm told.
I can imagine.
Gets his 2 free throws, and we've got what here? Got the officials want the floor wiped off.
It's very warm out tonight. I think it's warm in the gym. It'll be interesting to see if both teams have been substituting freely. If one of the teams tires late in this one, very warm in the gym.
Huckabee in, replacing Abram for Boston College. Connecticut has taken a 7-point lead, and Isley just throws one up into the trombone section.
Now, we talked about BC needing to take good care of it. Jimmy O'Brien wants to talk it over.
Boston College taking a timeout it needs, because right now Connecticut's on a roll, up by 7. Back after these words from our local stations. Score, Connecticut by 7, and they have grabbed that 7-point lead off of a 9-1 run in the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Boston College grabbed the lead 36-35 in the opening second. Steal and lay in by Abram. Since then, the Eagles have scored just 1 point.
Now, it's those kind of long periods without scoring that have hurt BC this year, and they've got to stop bearing down defensively where Connecticut's got the good run going.
Ball is slapped away by Howard Isley. On the floor for BC, we've got Huckabee, Isley, Moran, Abel, and Curley. For Boston College, Smith, Gwynn, DePriest, Sellers, and Scott Burrell.
Well, I think Jim Calhoun talked about intensity to UConn out of their timeout early in the second half, and I think Jim O'Brien talked about poise.
Wide open by Curley. Dumps it off to Burrell, and we're going to get a foul on Curley.
Now, it's a great block by Curley. Tried to recover again. And let's see if they rule if Burrell was in the act of shooting or not.
Apparently not.
Look at this, out of nowhere. DePriest with the seemingly easy layup. Curley, the nice soft block. And then Curley fouls Burrell on the ground. Good call.
And they throw away the inbounds pass. It goes into the hands of Huckabee. Got a 3-on-3.
Don't want to give it to your big man out that far.
Isley, Eagles have scored only a point in the last 3.5 minutes. Curley squeezing it off for 2.
Now, Jim O'Brien said, hey, we've turned it over a couple of times. Let's take better care of it. Good job by BC to find Curley.
44-39, Connecticut up by 5 points. Smith, they work it to Lyman DePriest. Sellers in the paint, no. Rebound, Burrell. Sensational play by Scott Burrell.
Well, he really makes a difference in there.
poses a tough matchup for BC.
7-point lead again for the Huskies of Connecticut. 14-15 to go in the game. Huckabee. It's knocked down, gets the ball in the paint to Abel. No. Rebound, Burrell.
Again, Doug Abel with the fadeaway instead of the power move up to the glass.
UConn by 7. We've got a whistle and a reach-in foul on Moran. And that will be the 4th team foul on Boston College. Connecticut has 3. David Hinton and Corey Jackson come in for Boston College. Abel and Moran go out. And that makes BC bigger right away because Hinton's a 7-footer. And Corey Jackson's at 6'7", joining the 6'9" Curley up front.
Now that counters the big lineup that Jim Calhoun has out there.
That's a big league 3 by Chris Smith. That was NBA range.
Well, on a night when both teams have struggled, there have been times Chris Smith has gone up, like, no doubt about this one.
That gives Connecticut a 10-point lead, their first double-figure lead of the game and their largest lead.
Now, BC really needs to score a couple of times here to keep this game close.
Jackson had the ball slapped away by Burrell. I want to tell you, Burrell has had a superior all-around game tonight.
Well,
Scott Burrell.
He does so much. Jim O'Brien, a look of concern. BC with just 5 second-half points so far in the first 6+ minutes. And again, this is where they need to really get the ball. Maybe they're, a tough pass.
Bad inbounds pass by Corey Jackson. Curley forced to commit the foul. That's his 4th. Otherwise, they had a breakaway going.
That is a bad turn of events for BC. Not only the turnover, but Jim O'Brien may have to give Bill Curley a rest within the next few minutes where he's got the 4 personals.
Scott Burrell has a double-double already tonight. 12 points and 10 rebounds to go with a couple of steals.
Good all-around numbers.
Oh, he's had a terrific game. Lyman DePriest, now Burrell off the pick. Beautiful pass by Burrell.
Give and go basketball.
Beautiful pass. Just a little touch pass.
It's fun to watch that kind of passing.
In the second half, so far, Boston College has been outscored 16-5.
Well, UConn's defense has been immense here in the second half.
Jackson doesn't get it. Rebound Burrell. They are taking control of the game. Lead by 12. Smith trying to lay some moves on Jackson. Win into the paint. Oh, easy layup.
Oh, David Hinton just backed off that time, and Jim O'Brien got to try to turn this momentum around.
Going to try to stem the tide, but right now it's running swiftly Connecticut's way. They're up by 14 back after these local messages. Stores Connecticut, watch this great play by Scott Burrell.
Well, he's all over the floor tonight, so active. The nice offensive rebound and able to find a way to get it in, and Connecticut really taking control off the boards.
There's a rebound by half. UConn a 9-1 rebound edge in this half. They have outscored Boston College 18-3 in the last 6 minutes and 9 seconds of this game.
Playing out like the first game in Boston where it was close at the half and Connecticut bore down defensively, put a run together. BC has to answer right here, get this game under 10.
The entry pass to Hinton, misses the shot. Curley the rebound after the up fake, doesn't get it. Hinton has it blocked. Hinton again, has it blocked again, but he is fouled.
Good effort by BC. That's just determination on the offensive boards.
Connecticut up by 14 points, their biggest lead of the game. They led in the first half by as many as 9 at 19-10 at one point before Boston College made a run at them and got the thing down to 1 at the half. That foul, by the way, was on Rod Sellers, and that is his 4th personal foul. That will bring Dan Cerulik off the bench for UConn. Hinton will shoot 2. Good foul shooter. Hinton, 6'11" sophomore from Newburgh, Indiana. Sellers sits down. Cerulik comes in. 5 points for Hinton as he is perfect at the line so far in the game. He has hit his Big East season average coming off ankle surgery.
He's got an air cast on the left ankle, heavily taped on the right.
5 fouls on Bill Curley. Boston College freshman from Duxbury, Massachusetts, goes over the top to commit his 5th personal foul. And he has had a very strong game for Boston College as well.
He has, but to have him with 5 with 12 to go is a problem. Jim O'Brien will have to sit him for about 5 minutes now. Thought he might get a rest when he picked up number 4 because he's working so hard out there. Definitely looks like he's a bit tired.
He also has a problem with his right foot as he's got the trainer over there with him. Will Foley is checked in for Boston College, replacing Billy Curley. 53-40, Connecticut by 13 points. They've opened it up here in the second half on a strong 18-4 run. Rebound by Foley, but over the top goes Dan Cerulik to commit UConn's 15th foul. That's the 4th on Cerulik. Boston College has 6 team fouls in the second half, so they are at the limit.
It's a game with a lot of fouls. I think
it is.
We haven't seen the last trip to the foul line tonight by either team.
I think we're going to see both of these teams in a two-shot situation as we get down to the final couple of minutes of play.
Connecticut's taking BC's three-point shooting completely away here in the second half with the tight pressure defense.
Isley on the miss, rebound Foley, and it's thrown by Burrell at Foley.
I don't think it hit him, though.
If it did, it hit him in the shoe. He was trying to keep the, knock the ball out of bounds off Foley.
Maybe you talked about Burrell must have a good fastball. He threw that basketball pretty hard.
Sure did. Oh, that's a travel call, but Hinton got rammed on that. Jimmy O'Brien is saying, my goodness.
Might have been a travel, he's saying, but was there some help?
Wow. To be put in play by Scott Burrell. In it comes to Chris Smith. UConn up 13 with 11.5 minutes to go in the ball game. 14 Boston College turnovers now. Connecticut has 12. Both of these teams are prone to turning the ball over. Lyman DePriest, good solid player, not spectacular, but
I'm not sure.
does all the good things well.
Hustlers. I'm not sure he wants to play DePriest that tight 20 feet from the goal, though. They need Foley down in the paint area to rebound.
Smith takes it on Huckabee, fouled Huckabee. Smith will go to the line as Boston College is over the limit. 1-1 coming for guard Chris Smith from Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Now you want to play aggressive defense and try to take things away from the offense, but right now neither team is playing the defense with their feet the way they should be. There's just too much reaching.
Gerard Abram comes in for Boston College. He replaces Howard Isley. As Chris Smith goes to the line to shoot. 1-1 for UConn. 13-point Husky lead. This turnaround for Connecticut came right after a steal by Gerard Abram and a lay-in. Gave Boston College a lead of 36-35 to start this second half. A very angry Jim Calhoun called timeout, read the riot act to his troops, and since then, he must have said something to them, because since then they have just been blowing BC away. Steal by Cerulik.
I think he talked about intensity, and it's been turned way up here in the second half since that timeout.
Cerulik being guarded by Foley. Baseline goes Gwynn, whistle and foul. Or is that out of bounds?
Out of bounds.
Okay. The game is getting extremely physical right now.
I'll say.
I mean, it's been physical enough to begin with, but in this last couple of minutes stretch, it is getting very, very physical out there.
Well, I think we're ready to see a lot more fouls before it's over.
DePriest, that's a travel on Lyman DePriest. The last couple of trips down, Connecticut has not done anything. BC has not cashed in the opportunities to get a couple of hoops and get themselves back to within range.
BC just hasn't been able to generate any kind of offense. Connecticut has taken away all of BC's options seemingly here in the second half. They need some penetration and trying to get themselves in better shooting position.
Huckabee on the miss, Burrell on the rebound. Oh, Burrell is having one game, I want to tell you.
Well, he's all over the floor. He's a tremendous athlete.
Smith for UConn. Now Scott Burrell. DePriest to Cerulik, trying to whirl on Hinton. Can't do it. Down inside, 10 minutes to play. 9:55 and the clock running. 53-40. Smith is fouled. Jump ball situation. Possession arrow, Connecticut. Possession arrow, Connecticut. Jim Calhoun is saying, what? What are you going to do to get a foul call? That's what he's saying.
Well, it was called by John Clark at the end of the basket, and he may have been shielded, but there was a lot of arm that time on Chris Smith.
Been a lot of contact in this game over the last few minutes. They are letting the young men play, as they say. Win, that's a 2.
Finds a way. Well, we've got a game, too, which has really settled into a half-court battle. If it would get out and open up more and get some fast break baskets, I think we'd see less bumping and reaching.
Moran for three. He gets it. A three-point hoop by Bobby Moran.
That's their first one of the second half, Gil.
Yep. 55-43, 9:15 to go. UConn by 12.
BC's really got to do that. If they get the quick opening, the pop, they've got to take it when they get some breathing room.
Well, they've got some three-point shooters out there. There's a foul by Abram all over John Gwynn. Gwynn will go to the line to shoot 1 and 1. Abram has committed his 5th personal foul. That is the 8th team foul on Boston College. 2 more. And UConn will be shooting 2 the rest of the way.
Ooh, look at those numbers by
73% UConn in this half. Boston College all the way down to 23.
Well, that's the reason for the 12-point lead. And BC, frankly, is lucky that they're only down by a dozen with that kind of shooting.
You're absolutely right.
Now, if BC realizes that Abrams got 5, they may be willing to just let him go. But Isley is on the bench. They may come back with him to try to keep Abrams shooting alive for late in the game.
Doug Abel has come in, replacing David Hinton for Boston College. One more shot coming for John Gwynn. He has 11 points in the ball game.
Seems that John Gwynn's shooting form is coming back.
14-point lead for UConn. This matches their biggest lead, as you see the time, lower right-hand corner of your picture.
Malcolm Huckabee playing the point now. He's from Bristol, Connecticut. A bit of a return home for him tonight.
Doug Abel finds Huckabee, tries to go on Smith. They work it to Foley. Foley, not a strong, physically strong kid, tried to take it inside. Got a foul on UConn, which will put them at the limit. That is their 6th. Then Cerulik has picked up his 5th personal foul. Rod Sellers will come in. Sellers has 4. The big men, Cerulik with 5, Sellers with 4, Bill Curley on the Boston bench with 5.
Well, both teams have dumped it down a lot tonight, so that's the reason for a lot of those fouls. UConn in the man-to-man.
Inbounds, this is Bobby Moran.
See, again, he had the quick opening there.
Yeah.
He just made one. Take that shot, because otherwise, look at the traffic every time BC tries to score.
Huckabee in trouble in the baseline.
Right there, shoot it.
Straight away, takes it in, no. Gets his own rebound, yes.
Good hustle.
Good follow by Gerard Abram. Players all over the floor.
I still think when he was open from the top of the key for 3, take it. That's a tough make for 2.
Yeah, when you're down 14 on the road, less than 9 minutes to go, you might as well. Loose ball. Sellers has it, dumps it off inside. Lay in for Lyman DePriest.
Nice hustle in there by UConn. Getting the loose balls now.
Abram, low to Foley. Moran had the notion for 3 and didn't go. Will Foley trying to do something down low as the ball blocked out of bounds by Scott Burrell.
Boy, this is really a war, isn't it?
Tell you what, I'm glad I'm not out there getting whacked around like that. It's really become an extremely physical game. He put in play by Huckabee. Abram for 3, doesn't get it. Deep rebound comes to John Gwynn. UConn up 14 points, 59-45.
Look, you like defense and hustle. You like this kind of a game. If people are watching want to see a lot of pure shooting, not necessarily the game to tune into.
DePriest and now Sellers. This is one that, see the way Gwynn got open down.
Oh, what a shot. We shot it backwards that time.
The way he got open, that has happened at least a half a dozen times tonight where someone in the BC defense has either gotten their feet tangled up or totally messed up their assignment, and there's been a Connecticut player, I mean, like wide open underneath.
Been a lot of screening away from the ball. BC right now standing offensively, very spread with their offense, and again, give UConn credit, just taking away most of BC's options.
Got a reach-in foul on John Gwynn, puts them over the limit, and will put Gerard Abram at the line to shoot 1 and 1 for Boston College.
But BC playing that good defense, they don't want to commit a foul. And again, the St. John's Nova game with 5 left. Looks like a beauty.
St. John's down by 4 in their first place position in the conference. A little precarious tonight. 5 minutes left in that game. Gwynn sits down and Peichel comes in for Connecticut. For Boston College, they made a substitution as well. Bobby Moran goes out and Howard Isley replaces him. One and one for Gerard Abram. Doesn't get it. Burrell, another rebound.
BC's got to make those free throws if they want to get back into this one, and it's really that time for BC now. We're under 7 minutes to go in the game. UConn running their plays. BC's got to mount the run now if they're going to challenge.
14-point lead for UConn with 6:40 to go in the game.
Connecticut working a little clock here.
Steve Peichel, that's Huckabee on him. Now Chris Smith, down to 15 on the shot clock for UConn. Smith goes on Isley. They double team him as Corey Beasley comes over to help out. I'm going to reach in, foul on Isley, and Chris Smith will go to the line. Smith, 70% foul shooter, the Huskies' leading scorer. Tell you what, though, the guy who's had the game tonight for Connecticut has been Scott Burrell. 17 points, 14 rebounds to go with 2 steals and a couple of blocks.
Nice numbers.
Oh.
That time BC played good half-court defense. The Connecticut was working the clock. It was down to 10, and Smith dribbling away from the goal. Not a time you want to reach in and foul.
This game was a 1-point game. Boston College leading 36-35 with 18:47 to go in this half. Over the next 3-minute span, Connecticut went on a 9-1 run to go ahead by 7, and they have not looked back since then. They have now pushed the lead to its highest spot as Jimmy O'Brien looks up and sees himself down by 15 points.
Part of this you just work through with a young team. They don't have anyone like a Chris Smith that can just take charge when the whole team goes cold offensively. And again, they go through that stretch in this game, and UConn pulls away.
Both free throws go for Chris Smith. And what do we have here? All right, BC to put it in play. Howard Isley.
Pressure now by Connecticut. BC's got to look to push here and try to mount the run. They're down by 16, and clearly they've got to get it under 10 and get it under 10 quickly.
That is the biggest deficit they've been looking at tonight. 6:15 to play in the game. Isley around the Moran pick, takes it in the paint and loses the dribble. Whoa, that's a double dribble by Lyman DePriest.
Jimmy Calhoun onto the court, puts the hands up, says, hey, did I go over the line?
I tell you what, if they want to prevent coaches from going over the line, they ought to put a curb over there, because that's the only way they'll get them to stop. You know, just put like a moat. They can't go out of the moat.
Jim Calhoun with a good retreating drop step that time.
BC right now appears to be very confused. Got a foul down low on Sellers. That's number 5. But the BC offense right at, you know, you were talking a moment ago about BC not having a kid like Chris Smith, who's a veteran player and been around and can score points and stuff. And it's very obvious when you look at Boston College right now in this last sequence on offense when they came down the floor with the ball. No one wanted to take the ball, take command, take charge. And that is what has happened to them over the course of this entire Big East Conference season.
Well, and one guy can't do it.
And that is because they're so young.
Yeah, one guy can't do it, but, you know, if you've got the one guy, perhaps a senior who's a point guard with the ball, he can at least open it up for the other guys. Yeah.
Anybody who is willing and has been there before and has done it before. Chris Smith is fouled by Corey Beasley. Then that's the guy that you can go to settle things down when you get into a situation where you really don't know what, you know, what do we do next? What do we do next?
Well, Jim O'Brien has said that with certain games where they've gone cold. He says, we really don't have the go-to guy, and guys will step forward over their careers, but right now I'm dealing with some young ball players who are trying as hard as they can, but it's not like someone can just take charge in a game when we need it.
A 9-1 run from the 1840 mark to the 1540 mark as what turned this ball game around. Chris Smith with one more shot coming as Boston College has hit the 10-foul limit here in the second half. There'll be 2 shots over the final 5:45 for the Huskies of University of Connecticut.
Connecticut really does bear down defensively, though. They have taken a lot away from BC in the second half with the tight D.
20 points in the game for Chris Smith. Came in averaging 19. He now has 20 in the game. Leading scorer for UConn. Isley. Gerard Abram for Boston College.
Only one 3-point attempt by BC in the second half with the tight D.
Isley hitting the little jumper from about the foul line.
It's his first hoop of the game.
62-47. A moment ago, Connecticut's 17-point lead was their biggest of the game. Abram on Smith. Curley getting set to come back in for Boston College. He has 5 personal fouls.
Connecticut doing a nice job here to work the clock down and then go for the high percentage shot.
Burrell, no. Rebound. Corey Beasley out of bounds. Off Lyman DePriest. It'll be Boston College ball coming down. Curley is in for BC, and he replaces Corey Beasley.
Well, that was a 7-minute sit for Bill Curley. Committed that 5th foul with about 12 plus to go. See if he can get back into the flow of the game without committing number 6. I find when a player sits that long, and sometimes that first play you bump into someone. Nova game still tight with the Johnnies.
Howard Isley back for Boston College. Abram, now Isley again. Takes the jumper short with it. However, there to lay it up and in was Malcolm Huckabee as he caught the air ball.
One thing that Connecticut doesn't want to do, they're still better than 4 to go in this game, is look to work the clock so much that they forget about putting it in the hole.
It is 62-49, 13-point lead for the Huskies. Cerulic.
Still too much time to ice it. You've got to take some time, but then be aggressive to the goal.
Like that. This is the shot. Foul called on Connecticut.
If it's Cerulic, that'll be it.
That'll put somebody from Boston College at the foul line. And if that is on Cerulic, that is number 6. Yes, it is. On Dan Cerulic, and he is fouled out of the ball game. That means Rod Sellers will have to come back in. And if he does, he'll come in with 5 personal fouls. 2 points for Cerulic. Here comes Sellers in to replace Dan Cerulic, who was fouled out of the game. At the line, Bobby Moran is the one who was fouled. He'll shoot 1-1 for Boston College. That was the 9th foul on Connecticut. So one more, and they'll be, or the Eagles will be in a 2-shot foul the rest of the way. Moran drills the first one. Bobby Moran, a very good foul shooter, 88%.
And one of the things we've seen with BC too, and they just did it Saturday, they were down by 25 plus against Syracuse and cut it to 12 late in the game. There'll be no quit in this young BC team. Jim Calhoun working along the sidelines.
Young they are. They've got, of their 5 players out there, 4 of them are freshmen. Moran gets both free throws, and suddenly it's an 11-point ball game, Ronnie.
Yeah, and BC with the full court press. Connecticut started to work the clock with better than 5 to go, and they just forgotten to go at the goal the last few times with the ball.
A reach-in foul. Howard Isley over the back of John Gwynn, and John Gwynn will go to the line. Gwynn will be shooting 2 as Boston College is over the 10-foul limit. And it'll be 2 shots for Gwynn.
Well, John Gwynn tried to make the game winner against Syracuse on the road, a game which Connecticut lost by 2 in overtime, didn't go down. His confidence was shot by that. The close loss to Syracuse at the Hartford Civic Center, he didn't get a shot off, but he came up big Saturday against Villanova, and he's regained the form here tonight, although that one doesn't go down.
He's got 11 points as he stands up there. One more free throw coming for John Gwynn. 4:17 remaining in the game. Boston College has cut a 17-point deficit down to 11. Now it's back up to 12. Lyman DePriest will come in for UConn, and he will replace John Gwynn.
He'll be in for the defense. Look for Jim Calhoun to get John Gwynn back in for the offense.
Early on the inbounds to Howard Isley. 12-point Connecticut lead. Huckabee on the baseline. Soft shot won't go. Curley the rebound. Nice job by Bill Curley. And it's a 10-point ball game with 4 minutes to go.
BC trying to claw its way back in.
Michael gets it ahead to Sellers. They had DePriest all alone under the bucket, but chose to swing it back outside.
This is where Chris Smith needs to take charge for Connecticut.
Alley-oop job to Burrell, loses it. Back comes Malcolm Huckabee. Boston College looking to get this back into single figures. Abrams for 3. No. Rebound Moran in the corner.
He's all over the floor.
Howard Isley for Boston College. 3.5 minutes to play in the game. Isley baseline, reverse layup. Tip in, no. Rebound into the hands of Pikel. BC had 3 chances to get that down into single digits. Got a foul on Isley. fouling Chris Smith, and that'll put Smith at the line to shoot 2.
That's a big turnaround. Bill Curley had a great tip-in opportunity, would have cut it to 8. Instead, a 4-point swing, depending on what happens at the line for Connecticut.
O'Brien at one time an outstanding point guard for Bob Cousy when the Coos coached at Boston College.
Jimmy was a great player. He's in the Hall of Fame at BC.
Chris Smith from Bridgeport, Connecticut, where a lot of very, very fine basketball players have come. Smith has 20 points. Once again, the
struggling from the line, though.
Library atmosphere when a UConn player goes to the line. And it's amazing the way that this entire place will just watch this. One-handed clapping.
Oh, he's
missed both shots. Ball out of bounds. It'll be UConn ball.
Well, the break's not going BC's way, and that's a big break for Connecticut with a fresh 45.
Timeout on the floor with 3:17 to play in the basketball game. It's a 10-point lead for UConn. Back after this. Hundreds of student athletes achieve significant success in both areas. Gillette to be played in this ball game at the Gamble Pavilion on the University of Connecticut campus in Storrs, Connecticut, where UConn has a 10-point lead over Boston College. Jim Calhoun's team leading Jimmy O'Brien's. And UConn has the ball as well. On the floor for Boston College, Moran, Curley, Huckabee, Isley, and Abram. 4 out of the 5 are guards. For UConn, Burrell, Sellers, Smith, Piquel, and Gwynn. 3 out of their 5 are guards, and Burrell can handle it pretty darn well for a forward. Burrell in the backcourt, nearly stolen, but Gwynn has it. Smith takes it all the way through, dumps it off to Burrell. He gets it.
Another big basket by UConn.
14 points, 14 rebounds for Scott Burrell.
Nice
12-point lead.
Nice penetration by Smith.
Abrams a 3, doesn't get it. Sellers the rebound.
Well, BC is in that position now where they've got to make their shots each time down the floor. For Connecticut to work clock now, make their foul shots.
Connecticut has shot 60% in this half. Boston College has shot 31%. Sellers is fouled by Bobby Moran. Rod Sellers will go to the line to shoot 2.
Well, one of the things we said at the half where neither team had shot well, the team that can get hot in the second half, great chance to win. And I think it was really that, and maybe even more so, the stifling defense by Connecticut.
In case you missed the news earlier today, Mike Tranghese, the commissioner of the Big East, announcing officially the formation of the Big East Football Conference. With the 4 Big East Division I schools, Boston College, Syracuse, Pitt, and Miami, being joined by Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Temple, and Rutgers in an 8-team football conference that will begin play this season. Not all the teams will play each other this year. They've got to wait a couple of years for the schedules to match up. But many of the teams will be playing each other, and like I said, they're looking very deeply and quickly into association with a bowl game as well.
I thought an interesting note on the press release. Jeff Hostetler and
Jim Kelly. The 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks.
Big East performers.
Right. That's a 3rd double-double in a row, by the way, for Rod Sellers as he hit double figures in points and rebounds tonight. Curley coming up short with that one. 13-point lead, UConn, 2:20 to go in the game.
Well, UConn's just got to run their patient offense now, spread the floor. Not much BC can do here except reach in. Oh, nice steal.
Steal the ball. Huckabee gets it ahead to Howard Isley. Nice dump off to Abram, lays it in. Basket counts, and he's fouled with 2:03 to go.
Nice scrap by BC.
Here's a final score. Villanova has upset St. John's by 10 at Madison Square Garden in New York. St. John's drops into 2nd place at 7-4, and Villanova moves up to 5-5. And
look at that pack.
That's still going to be 5, maybe 6 losses. Will end up winning the conference before this thing is over. Basket was good by Gerard Abram.
Always seems at this stage of the year you can really see the separation from top to bottom. Not this year in the Big East. Nice follow.
That's a 4-point swing for Boston College, 66-57. I'm sorry, Ronnie, what'd you say?
Well, I was just saying, there's always been a separation top to bottom at this place, but not this year.
No, this year
a lot of punching up.
An awful lot of parity in this league.
Get the hustle.
Minute and 45 to go. Reach in. Abram commits the foul. That should be number 6 on Gerard Abram. He will foul out.
Well, good hustle, though. He came down too hard with the arm. BC really scrapping at this stage.
Well, that is 6 on Abram. He will foul out. With 1:48 to go, UConn leads by 9. And Chris Smith is at the line to shoot 2 shots for the University of Connecticut. Both teams over the 10-foul limit. So Smith will shoot 2. Lior Arditi comes in for Boston College to replace Abram, who's fouled out. Arditi, by the way, has 3-point range, as does Moran, as does Huckabee. And with a 9-point ball game and 1:48 to go, stick a couple of threes in and things can get pretty interesting down the stretch.
Well, Chris Smith is talking to himself from the line right now. He's aimed the last couple, but they've hit just about every part of the rim without going down.
Got 20 points in the game, but he's missed 3 foul shots in a row, hasn't he?
Yep.
Got that.
Here he goes.
21 now for Smith. 10-point lead for UConn. Howard Isley.
Looks like BC's got 1 timeout left. Perhaps they'll try to score here and maybe use that last one up.
Huckabee dumps it off. Isley, a 3, no. Rebound, Burrell.
Again.
What a great game he's played. Scott Burrell.
Oh, collision.
Wicked collision between Bobby Moran and Chris Smith. Moran holding on to his left knee. Take another look at this. These 2 guys just rammed into each other on the far side of the floor.
Now, we talk about Bobby Moran. He does a little bit of everything. Oh, collision time.
Ooh.
Clearly a blocking foul. Chris Smith.
First down.
1st and goal.
Smith will go to the line to shoot 2. 1:27 to go. Connecticut led by a point at halftime, 35-34. Boston College scored the first basket of the second half to go ahead 36-35 on a pure hustle play by BC and lack of hustle by Connecticut. Head coach Jim Calhoun was incensed, called a timeout, read the riot act to his players. They came out with a 9-1 run, shot ahead by 7 points, and have not looked back since then. They got as high as 17. BC had whittled it down to 9.
If you tuned in late to this game, I was just thinking that was a good example of the kind of game we've had.
Exactly.
It's been a contact game, a lot of fouls, a lot of reaching in.
And one of those no harm, no foul kind of games. Isley goes coast to coast, misses it.
That's a walk.
Another rebound, this time by Lyman DePriest. And what do we have?
I don't know. It looks like it's just Connecticut ball. I thought DePriest, when he caught it, took a couple of steps, but.
All right, it'll be put in play by Scott Burrell. DePriest goes out. Gwynn is in. Inbounds it comes to Chris Smith.
BC needs a steal. They're gambling.
Ahead to John Gwynn.
See him have a little thought there to go in.
1:05 left to play in the game as the clock ticks down. 1:07 to be exact. Foul in Boston College. A game loaded with fouls here in the last couple of minutes. Both teams went over the 10-foul limit in the first half and in the second half. It has been that kind of a rough game. And you know what? There was a stretch here in the second half, if you recall, Ronnie. We were talking about how rough the game was without fouls being called. Remember, we were saying,
Yeah.
people are flying all over the place and nothing's being called. You know, they're letting them play, as we like to say.
And then a lot of reach-ins were started to be called. So you had to be on your toes tonight as a player.
DePriest replaces Gwynn for UConn. 1:07 to go. Connecticut a 13-point lead.
Well, this gets tough for Jim O'Brien. Another close one with his young players, but unable to get over the hump. And they've been in most games this year. 3-pointer.
By Moran, no. Arditi tips the rebound. Isley has it, no. Scott Burrell comes away with it. He hits the deck. Fouled from behind by Malcolm Huckabee.
And a lot of in and out shots tonight, too. Seemingly touching every part of the rim.
And some of these players have touched every part of this floor as they went bouncing along all night long.
What a nice night by Scott Burrell.
He's had a great night, and he is our Infinity Player of the game. Look at those numbers. 14 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 steals for the sophomore from Hamden, Connecticut, our Infinity Player of the game, UConn's Scott Burrell.
Great effort by Burrell. He's adding to his numbers now. Just a fine athlete.
hit a three-point shot early in the game. I remember that got UConn off to an early run. But his rebounding has just been the outstanding feature of his game tonight, which has had a lot of good features: shooting, rebounding, passing.
Probably the biggest plus as far as Jim Calhoun is concerned is he's had tendonitis in his heel, but he hasn't shown it on a lot of plays tonight, has he?
No, he hasn't practiced for 10 days coming into this game. Huckabee misses a three. Arditi gets it. They swing it back to Moran. Moran takes it all the way in, misses it. Boston College hadn't had a basket in about the last 2.5 minutes.
Well, that's been their problem primarily in the second halves of games this year. They just can't seem to buy a basket.
Smith, no, he'll go to the line with 20.9 seconds remaining. Yeah, the 9-1 run from the 18 to 15-minute marks of the second half are what settled the hash on this one. BC was up by a point. UConn a 9-1 run, put them ahead by 7, and they never, ever looked back. They just swept on from there. Billy Curley fouls out. Chris Smith is at the line. He's got 23 points.
I thought Curley was playing very well until he picked up the 5th with 12 to go.
Burrell will sit down. 16 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. Our Infinity Player of the game, Scott Burrell. Terrific performance.
Sold refreshments at halftime, too, I think. He did everything tonight.
Right. Going to stick around after, help clean up the gym. No, the young man's had a terrific game, and he very richly deserved our Player of the Game award for his performance. You know, scoring points is one thing. Working hard on rebounding, getting 6 assists. Those are the little points of the game that require work.
That's
they really
right.
do. And unselfish play.
And they got double figures tonight from Gwynn with 13, and Chris Smith, if he can make this free throw, has quietly amassed
25.
A pretty big night for himself. But that extra effort from Morrell with the points and the rebounding really makes the difference.
All right. Smith sits down with 25 points.
That's a career-high rebounding night, too, for Burrell.
16 rebounds. His previous high was 15 against Clemson. Right now, it's a 17-point ball game.
Nice up fake.
Huckabee lays it in.
Beauty.
And it's a 74-59 ball game. Oliver Macklin gets fouled by Malcolm Huckabee. And Macklin will go to the free throw line.
I'm sure there's any need for that one with 2.9 seconds to go, but the crowd will, I think, enthusiastically applaud if Macklin can get on the scoring board.
Macklin from Bridgeport, Connecticut. He and Chris Smith, both from Bridgeport. Now Macklin will shoot 2 shots as both Boston College and Connecticut way over the 10-foul limit. Clanks the first one, he'll get one more. He is looking for his first Big East point of the season.
Let's see if he can drop this one in.
He has not scored in conference play yet this year. Oliver Macklin. He still hasn't. Tip in by sure. How about that? That's the ball game. And the final score, 76-59, UConn over Boston College. Jim Calhoun, the winner. We'll be back to wrap it up in a moment.